Hi guys, this is a quick tutorial about how to grow kumara slips for growing kumaras this season. In front of me I've got a few different stages, from the ones that I'll show you how to set in just a minute to ones that I have grown that have been down for about 4 or so weeks, maybe a little longer, that are reasonably well grown. These guys are about at the size where they could be put in the ground now, but of course we need to wait until the last frost of the season before they can go in the ground. So they'll just continue to get longer and longer. The longer they are is fine. We just don't want them to be too short to mature by the time they're ready to go in the ground. So that's why it's absolutely imperative that we do this job now. So we've got this tub just here. These guys are a little bit behind these bigger ones, and then we've got this tub here which is a little bit further behind again. These ones are just starting to get some green growth and a few little roots on them. So I'm going to swing you over here and I will show you guys how to prepare everything and get them down, and then within no time hopefully they should be starting to grow. So essentially I buy store-bought kumaras. If you can get organic ones, that's excellent. If you can't, these guys are just from my greengrocer. They've been conventionally prepared, so though they're not organic, they will still do the job. All of these ones here that I've shown you, they have been grown from the same sources as where I purchased these from. So essentially what we need to do is we need to look at the fruit, or the tuber, and isolate where we're likely to get slips growing from. I find that the first sort of end of the kumara, both top and bottom, where I'm more than likely going to get the best ones come from. That'll grow the fastest. You can put in the whole tuber, but I like to try and make sure that I can still utilize as much of the vegetable as I can. So essentially we try and keep the bulk of it so that we can actually still eat it. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for, sorry, I'll just see where, little eyes like that. Sometimes they're really hard to distinguish. Areas like that just in front of the knife there, they likely will also grow some slips in the viney part, which is what you want. I don't just do the red kumara. This is actually an orange kumara, and you can see just up around the tip there's lots of the little nodules where they'll grow from. So I do as many of the different varieties as I can get my hands on. So essentially what we want to do is, with this I'm going to look, and I'm probably going to cut it about here, and I'm going to want this section here to put in the water so that I can get the most out of it. So it's about just making a straight cut. As you can see, it's a beautiful bright orange sweet potato or kumara, and then essentially all that happens with this is it gets set down into the water. I usually have the water up about from my thumbnail to here, deep. If you don't have these mats, I've got a tutorial on how to make those on the Sustainable Living at Steel Gully. If you don't have those, it's absolutely fine just to sit them straight in. I just find that it's easier to clean them out, and this season I've actually had to clean the water out in these trays a couple of times. We've had a few that just haven't sprouted and they've gotten a bit rotted, and there's been a bit of a nasty smelling and nasty looking sort of slimy stuff that's then comes along and it rots out your good ones. So that's why I do that. I can still take this end. I've still got a couple of reasonably nice looking eyes on here, so I'll just cut that off and place it down. These reds I find have usually got, well, sorry, the purple kumaras with the yellow centre. I usually find that they've got quite a few little dimply areas. Sometimes they've got these little ones here, I don't know if that'll focus, where it's actually grown in the packet and it's died off. You can still get a shoot from that, so don't be worried if they've grown, you've knocked them off, they've died off, they may still push a shoot from there. So again, I'm just going to cut that end off, and you can see, and then place it on the mat. With this one here, because it's got a couple of really nice little areas, you can see just there, I don't know if it'll focus, there's actually a bit of a root coming out of there, so I'm actually going to use that. I think that that'll grow some nice slips. You do still get to use the vegetable for eating, because that's all I'm taking off. And then same thing, just place it down in there. There's another eye just there that looks pretty good by my thumb, so I'll do the same thing. I'll just take that there. Now the ones that you take from the side, they might curl up. That's fine. If you need to trim away some of the excess, if it does curl up, just have it still remain in the water, but it should be fine. Same thing. This end, it's been pretty battered and bruised around, and it doesn't look like it's got any really nice little eyes on there, so I think I'm just going to leave that one for eating. This one here, you can see that it's actually quite rotten, but it does have some nice eyes around here, so you can still use that. What I would do is I'm going to cut the rotten end off, and you can see that it's quite dry and shitty looking, so I'm going to get rid of that. That's not going in there. However, I've got a couple of nicer looking eyes around here, so essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cut lower down, and so that it sits flat, I'm going to cut it in half and put those two pieces in. This end is looking really good, but because it's so long, it's not going to stand upright, so what I'm going to do is I am actually going to lay it down, so I'll take it off about there, and then I'll lay it down that way. You can start it standing up and see how it goes, but you'll likely find that it'll end up needing to be laid down. I've got a few nice eyes along here, so I'm going to take that. If they don't grow, you can always have a clean out. It's okay, you can toss any that didn't quite work out very well. And then here we've got a couple of little purpley eyes, so I'll take that as well. And see, even with all that, there's still quite a bit of kumara that you can eat. This one again, it's a little bit tricky to tell because they've been cleaned. They've got sort of little nicks in the skin, so I'm just going to take, I think I'm just going to take the tips and place them in. Oops. And then I did just notice that there's a really nice eye just there, so I'm going to take that as well. Just give it another look around. Actually, there's some really, really nice eyes just around here, so I'm going to take those as well. Now with this, because it's got a flat bottom on it, I am actually going to lay it that way, but I think I'm going to cut it, actually no, this is where it can get a bit tricky because I want to maximize. It turns out that I've got an eye there that I want, and I've got some there, So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take that triangle piece off to make it sit flat. I'll get rid of that. With these guys, again, it can be a little bit tricky to see where the eyes are coming from. So if you can't figure out where the eyes are coming from, cut the tips off, put them in, and then you can always sort of guesstimate and go down the center and just place that in. Either something will grow from it or it won't. This one doesn't look too bad either, so we'll pop that in. And then with some of these fatter ones, if you've got a deeper area, you can pop them in the deeper area. I'll just move the camera. So, sorry, just get you in frame. So these two at the back are just about completely underwater. Those ones there, they are too deep. We don't want them that deep. In fact, I may have to remove a little bit of water because, as you can see, there's some that are under the water. So I'll just adjust that until they are above the water again. So hopefully that has helped, and I will do another clip once we have got everything ready for planting. Sorry, another video once we've got everything ready for planting.